This inmate is clearly uncomfortable in her cuffs. They make her feel powerless and humiliated. There is nothing she'd rather wish for right now than to be released, out of the shackles restraining her, having her freedom back, not being forced to obey the guards. But unfortunately for her, that's not going to happen. She will have to accept her punishment, no matter how much she doesn't want to. This inmate hasn't exactly felt sexy ever since she got locked up in jail, forced to wear an ugly uniform, and not being allowed to wear makeup. But now that she appears in court with chain tightly locked around her waist, making her curves more visible, and she sees the way her boyfriend looks at her, she realizes how good she actually looks. A beautiful young woman who has her freedom taken away from her as punishment for her crimes. How humiliating her jail uniform looks. How her restraints make her totally helpless. How she has to obey the guards. A bad girl being forcefully disciplined. In her mind, there is nothing sexier than that. This inmate has nothing against being shackled. She thinks it's rather exciting to have a cuffs tightened around her wrists and ankles, and a chain wrapped around her waist, to be powerless and humiliated. But her current situation kind of ruins her mood. She just got sentenced to 15 years in prison. She quite enjoyed her stay in jail for a couple months, but she is not prepared to lose her freedom for the next 15 years of her life. But unfortunately for her, there is nothing she can do about it. She broke the law, and now she has to accept her punishment, no matter how much she does not want to. As this inmate steps out of the police car in restraints, she has to accept there is no way she can avoid what's coming to her. She is about to be sentenced, and her lawyer advised her not be too optimistic, because she is definitely going to get locked up in prison for a long time. The couple months she has spent behind bars already were not exactly enjoyable. She got no freedom whatsoever. She was constantly getting shackled, ordered around, and patted down. And now she has to accept that will be her life for a long, long time, no matter how much she regrets what she did. Reality winner. This inmate is in prison because she leaked classified government information. But the news website she leaked the information to did a poor job of hiding their source, which got her caught. She keeps smiling for every camera because she believes she did the right thing and doesn't want anyone to think she regrets what she did. Even though the leaked information was useless, and the only thing which it led to was her getting locked up in prison for the next 5 years of her life, losing her freedom, forced to wear a humiliating prison uniform, constantly getting cuffed and chained, having to be obedient to the guards. She probably does deeply regret what she did because all of that is not worth it. This inmate keeps her head down out of utter shame of what she has done and pure humiliation because of how she's being treated. She made the stupid decision to break the law, and now she's being put on trial to determine how harshly she deserves to be punished. Forced to wear a humiliating prison uniform, cuffs locked around her wrists, a chain tightly wrapped around her waist, and a guard constantly holding her arm to make sure there is no way she can escape her trial. Now, she can only hope on getting a short sentence, even though she knows that is probably not going to happen. This girl is rather shy as she enters the courtroom. She knows her crime wasn't too bad, so she will probably only be sentenced to a few months in jail, which she really isn't worried about. She's just excited about experiencing it for once, since she's always fantasized about it. Wearing a humiliating prison uniform, being tightly restrained by cuffs and chains, forced to follow every order the guards give her. She's kind of embarrassed she enjoys it so much. Especially the way the men in the courtroom look at her make her feel extremely hot. She almost wishes she could be sentenced to a couple years in prison to make it extra exciting for her. Kelsey Nicole Turner. This inmate doesn't seem to mind the restraints she's in. In fact, she kind of likes being helpless in cuffs and chains, and she can't help but love her humiliating prison uniform either. She quite enjoys getting treated like she must be punished. Unfortunately for her, the judge noticed that too, and he didn't exactly appreciate her carefree attitude in the courtroom. So he already warned her he is going to make sure she spends the rest of her life in prison. This overwhelms the inmate a lot. She likes being punished, but being punished for the rest of her life does have her worried quite a bit.